Good morning and good evening, Senator Tillis. I just want to take an opportunity to share some with you. So I'm going to be brief, and hopefully you'll find it interesting and compelling. So my name, obviously, is Curtis Walker. I am a supply chain student here in Winston-Salem for Forsyth Tech. I got an opportunity to meet you at Washington, at ACCT uh, conference. So I'm gonna just bring something on screen for you to see, and here we go. So as you see right there, this is a COVID-19 presentation. Again, my name is Curtis Walker. So just a quick overview, stuff that you already know. COVID-19, and right there on the right-hand side, and there's origins Wuhan, human coronavirus, possibly transferred to humans from bats, possibly. It's pandemic, high rate of infection, attacks the respiratory system, has gone global. Now the United States predominantly is in shelter in place, and many other places within the country. It's creating a large percentage of unemployment, possibly going up to 10%. The economy was really thriving, and now we have this. No verifiable vaccine, even though there are definitely some trials out there, and it has not reached its peak. So again, my name is Curtis Walker. I'm a supply chain student. I'm supply chain management at Forsyth Tech, student ambassador, college advisory board for the city of Winston-Salem. All of this through Forsyth Tech. What makes me qualified? Nothing makes me qualified. What I am is a person that's on the ground, and so I definitely have taken the opportunity to look around the city and see what's going on, and giving you my perspective. So again, right there, the next slide is that I met you in Washington from the ACCT conference as a student ambassador for Forsyth Tech Community College. What I believe, just by walking around, is the best way to defeat an extremely offensive team is extremely coordinated and aggressive defense that takes the fight to the enemy. And my hypothesis may seem simple. It's very simple. We have a reactionary system, our healthcare system, and that is waiting for sick people to come to the healthy people. So we need to go to the places that are evident and corral the issue instead of letting it corral the country. And that's pretty much what I'm seeing on the ground here in Winston-Salem, even though we don't have a high rate of infection here. So what are the common points of contact? Supermarkets, manufacturing, international airports, and public transportation centers. These are people, even though we're under shelter in place, these are where people are congregating still. And these are definitely issues, large metropolitan areas, obviously, New York, California. There's reasons why they're experiencing the difficulties in combating and corralling the issue. Okay, so the next thing is that I believe supply chain is the X factor in all of this. So supply chain is more than moving goods, products, and services. It's also the movement of people and information. And the United States probably has the largest supply system in it, but it's sitting on this shelf because the country's just not moving. The economy's not moving, the planes are not moving, the buses are not moving, people are not moving. So we need to get the supply chain in the game, because the supply chain could be the X factor that can be critical, and I guess the United States being able to combat this, and not only combat it, but then go on the offensive and hammer this thing and get rid of it. So we have access to every single airline and every mode of transportation. When you look out on the news, you see all these airlines, the planes just sitting there on the tarmacs. People are not flying, goods are not moving, things are not being transported. Why don't we utilize that? And the reason I would say that we can use it, we can mobilize the entire country. Every area of common contact should be in a screening process. If we wait for people to develop symptoms in order to reveal the spread of the virus, then it's too late. Now, ADC makes a great thermometer, and almost every large supermarket has thermometers in them, from Walgreens to Food Lion on down, from Harris Teeter. They all have thermometers in them. And generally, a thermometer, you can have the instantaneous ones within 1 to 3 seconds, which is rapid, or you can have the ones that have more of a time limit, maybe like 30 seconds. Either way, every single person that's going into these areas should be screened. This is going to do a couple other things. So screening is a moderate measure, and that creates an extreme result, which means people are still out about. So we need to use that. While they're out and about, let's use that. Let's be aggressive by that with some aggressive screening process in all of these areas. And by doing this, it's going to give us the unintended effect, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. So if every CEO should issue a memo for COVID-19, policy from Wall Street to Walmart to Walgreens to IBM and so forth. It's just one stroke of a pen. And the key takeaway would be one, screening for everyone that utilizes markets. Two, use the workforce that's sitting at home. So we get people back into the game that are working and they're constantly being screened. Three, within 24 to 72 hours, we could supply all major markers with temperature sensors. We know that temperature sensors work because it's one of the key indicators that a person is infected or has contracted, even though there's an incubation period. But generally, the people that are beginning to experience this within 2 to 5 days, their temperatures rise. So it's a good indicator. Four, manufacturing can restart safely because if we get all our production back up, then that would help the supply chain. So we get people going back into work, doing the things that they need to do, but as they're going into their facilities, they're being screened. And if they don't pass the screening process, then you can just send them home. But this is it's a moderate measure that would give us a nice unintended consequence. Five, being proactive. There are 50 states in the United States. We need to build 50 medical centers or 50 hospitals that are solely devoted to quarantine. And then we also need to train staff that can be mobilized at a moment's notice to go and work those. So we use them for skeleton crews, and this is futuristic. Six, all of the out of service aircraft or aircraft that is being rotated to out of service, those aircrafts can be used as quarantine aircrafts so that we can get sick people going to these designated places out of the mass population where they can possibly infect other people can contract the infection, get them isolated, and then treated, and then get them back out. So the tips would be, as it says, tell your audience, the screening, mobilization, using the entire transportation system, and getting the production of America flowing again. Build the quarantine hospitals quietly. This would be something that's done quietly that can treat 100,000, because 100,000, if you look at right now, the confirmed cases are 244,646. Deaths 6,059, and recovered 10,043. 10,043 is about 5% of those that have confirmed. So if we get that initial wave out of the populations and isolated, then that will go a long way in combating infection. The next thing is to have those hospitals run on skeleton crew but ready to be active. So we get these people trained, nurses, doctors, trained in pandemic crisis treatment. So then when pandemics could possibly happen, then we get people out of the population, but we already have people ready and willing to go and work these situations that are trained prior to the process happening. And so we're not going to be in reaction, but we're being proactive. So 100,000 is considered the initial wave, and we remove them from mass population, which mitigates the spread and contraction. Okay, so the call to action is very simple. Let's be aggressive and take the fight to the virus. We need to utilize all our resources and information to mobilize the country. And after Pearl Harbor, we didn't wait. We attacked. They said America was a sleeping giant. Well, America right now is sleeping. Well, let's wake the sleeping giant. So again, my name is Curtis Walker. I'm a supply chain student at Forsyth Tech Community College, and I just want to take the time to offer this to you. So it's very key that we have many people. So if we get people, if need be, and companies would allow, we can have people that are volunteering. Those planes are sitting on the tarmac, so we can get them in planes into designated areas, and then all these areas we could have them screening. So within a 30 to 100 day window, we could probably screen almost, I would say, at least 70% of America as it moves about on its normal day-to-day activities. Now, the unintended consequence is this. So if you're going to supermarkets and you're buying things, if you're being screened and you realize knowing that you're going to be screened, one, most people don't want to be found out that they're guilty, right? So they're going to stay at home. If you know that you're going to a supermarket to buy things, you're not going to be just going as a discretionary measure. You're going to go when you need to go. That keeps more people out of the quote open areas, strengthens the social distancing, and then allows us to isolate the situation. So we have the statistics right now. All of the analysts. We need to do cross-functional. We know sociologists and psychologists sociologists can deal with behavior of people. Psychologists, the way that people think. We need to have a cross-functional team where you have sociologists, psychologists, building psychologists, as well as supply chain management, and then also the medical and scientific engineers that can work as one team so that we can kind of corral this problem instead of sitting back and just saying, well, it's going to peak out and then this is the way it's going to go. But we need to go out and we need to be aggressive. I think the screening process is the number one thing. We need to have people out there screening consistently everywhere, 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 everywhere. This is, I think, one of the initial things that we should be doing. I think it's also one of the long terms that we can be doing going forward. And if we were to implement that in every area of society, we would be ahead of the curve. And not only will we be ahead of the curve, we'd be pushing back against the disease and the virus as it spreads across America. So again, my name is Curtis Walker. I'm so thankful that you had the opportunity to talk to you again, and I hope that this is helpful. And God bless, and keep doing what you're doing. Really, really proud of you, Senator Tillis. Bye bye.